Hi everyone, this is Wolf Branch Homestead Hummingbirds. We're going to do a quick review on the Dollar Tree Hummingbird feeders. We've used a couple of these over the years, and from past experience, I just want to talk a little bit about the pros and the cons of these. Why you should or shouldn't buy them, that's up to you, but we're going to basically just kind of give an unbiased opinion of these feeders. So there's no sponsorship or anything like that. In the past, Dollar Tree was always $1. So the feeders now are actually $1.25. Dollar Tree increased their prices some. So these feeders right now are selling for $1.25, and this is a new one right here. These feeders come apart. The bottom comes apart. There's two segments right here. The flowers do not come out. You can get them to pop out. It's not quite easy, and sometimes they will break. So cleaning the flowers is tough. So I would have backup feeders, so if you do go to pop them out and clean them properly, if you do happen to lose one of them or they break, then you have replacement. The other thing about these is they're really cheap, so if you do have some kind of issue with that, they're affordable to get, and you can order in bulk on their website, so you could get a couple at one time, versus some of the other hummingbird feeders where they're going to be more expensive. The top right here will unscrew as well. So this part, the red part, will unscrew from the plastic. They are made of plastic entirely. There's no glass. So if you drop them, they're not going to shatter. If they're, newer, they're not brittle. They will bleach very easily. So if you're cleaning your feeders with a bleach mixture, and especially out in the sun, they can sun bleach as well. The flowers, you can clean out pretty easily with, I've used a straw brush, and they sell brushes to clean the ports of feeders, but I've used a straw cleaning brush successfully. Remember that soap and water are not going to be enough to get these clean. We used the hummingbird spot video on how to clean your hummingbird feeders, and Carol talks about using bleach water mixture or using vinegar to spray on them or soak with vinegar. She's got a couple different methods, so I would check that out. I'll link it in the description. That way you can see how to clean your feeders properly and help keep your hummingbirds healthy. So, with this, I would say the pros. They're really affordable. If you're making small batch nectar, these are going to be handy. So when we get a few hummingbirds at the start of the season, we don't want to put a giant amount out, and a lot of our feeders are larger. So this works for small amounts, getting them to start visiting and attract them here. And then also, like I said, affordability. I would say that durability, they're okay. I'd say about mid-level, so like I said, they're not glass, so they're not going to break as easily. They do bleach out. The only thing we've had trouble with is squirrels. We've had squirrels actually eat the flowers off before, thinking they were going to get into something and, get into the sugar water, and they'll chew the flowers off. So again, the affordability of replacing them, that was kind of handy. We had some replacement parts for it, even if we have something, say, where one of the flowers bust off or something, and we still will save the extra parts of it. So if we do have to replace parts, we've got the spare ones where another one, say, has broke or something. So it's kind of handy to have a couple of them where you can replace parts on them. Cons of this, it's not really easy to clean. So the mouth of this, where you go to refill it, is pretty narrow, so it's really hard to get it and actually scrub it well. We use a bottle cleaning brush, but even then, if you just use soap and water, they're really quick to sometimes build up that black kind of mold on the inside. So definitely the bleach water soak and the scrubbing them with vinegar when you're in between changes, when you don't have time to get it soaked. But definitely that soak is really going to help any old feeders that have that on there. If you see kind of black on the inside, try giving them a soak. And make sure you get them really well cleaned off. Carol has a tip on her video on using a vitamin C tablet crushed up in your rinse water to help neutralize any residue. So that's what we do when we actually soak them. The pros of this feeder are affordability. $1.25 right now, so they're fairly easy to have a couple on hand. You can save your extra parts if you happen to have one break and replace them if you have another one that's missing parts. So that dollar, the affordability of it is really nice. Size-wise, they're pretty small. So if you're only making small batch nectar, you only have one hummingbird, or you're just waiting for your migrators to come in, these are a nice small size. Also, they're not glass, so if you do drop them, if they're not really brittle, then they won't break. I would say cons. Squirrels will chew on them. The squirrels will actually eat these flowers off, I've noticed. We've had a couple lost like that. They're not really easy to clean, especially where the flowers aren't meant to pop off, so getting them cleaned out is kind of a hassle. The mouth of refilling the bottle part is actually really narrow, so not only is it kind of hard to fill, you'll have to use a funnel, but also getting it cleaned out properly is going to kind of be a hassle. So again, make sure your feeders are really, really well cleaned. Another thing is if you leave them out in the sun, like I mentioned before, they will get bleached out fairly easily. But it's a matter of outweighing the pros and the cons. And again, for affordability wise, for as cheap as these are, it's kind of a toss-up. That's kind of what you expect for something like that. So if you have a very small amount of hummingbirds, if you are only getting like a couple of migrators coming in, you're not using a lot of nectar, then something like this might help, and especially if you're just getting started into hummingbirds. But I would say you need to really, really research how to properly clean your feeders if you're going to use something like this. We do use them for early migrators, and when we're only using a small amount of nectar in one location, we usually spread them out across the homestead. So we'll have a couple of these out in areas where there's not many hummingbirds. We've got a spot out in the woods next to where a beech tree used to be, kind of over where we're building the hummingbird garden. And usually there's only one or two there, so we'll use a feeder of this size there. But like I said, cleaning wise, that's going to be your main concern in getting them apart. Like I said, the flowers will pop off. You kind of have to pry them, and you can get the brush down in the ports to get them all, taken apart. But it's kind of a pain, and they will sometimes break. So have replacement parts on hand, have replacement feeders just in case. It is possible, and you can pop them back in there. Another thing with these is there is no kind of ant proofing on these feeders. So something like this, where I've just kind of got it hanging on this tree, they will come off the ground. They'll go up the branch, come down this branch, and they will go right down and climb in and get in the feeders. These are not ant proof, so you're going to have an issue with ants. Even these, as small as the ports kind of look, you can get yellow jackets in them. The yellow jackets will actually fly in, get into the port, and they will be in the base of the feeder. So one tip with this is if you use these and you go to take them apart, if you have an issue with yellow jackets, you need to be very, very careful because they will occasionally be in the bottom of this feeder. I would say, all in all, for the price, you won't expect good quality, but these are good starter feeders. They're good for small batches, for areas where you may only have a couple of them. But again, it's not going to be perfect quality. They're not going to be easy to clean. So it's kind of a toss-up. Just use your own judgment. If you've got a couple of feeders, then try it out and see how you like it. See how you can get them clean. And again, that's the important thing, is make sure you can properly clean these feeders. So hopefully this short review on these feeders will help you kind of make decisions, especially if you see them in the store or you're looking for something quick. A lot of people, especially like for us, we're very rural. So especially if you're kind of in a hurry and you need to get one and you're going, oh my goodness, the hummingbirds are here already, I'm not prepared. If you have a dollar store near you, if you have a Dollar Tree, that's where these come from. This is going to be kind of a quick solution for you, and it'll help out, and they're okay to use. Especially if you're waiting on something to say get shipped. Dollar General sometimes sells them, but usually not. Right now what we're seeing in our stores is we're seeing the like some bird feeders, and we're seeing those nectar mixes with the red dyes in them. Again, that's a big no-no. Do not use red dyes in your feeders. Even the ones that say they're free of red dyes, they're going to contain all these crazy preservatives. There's a major brand right now that people are going to because it's red dye free, But if you look at the ingredients list, guess what one of the ingredients is? Sodium bicarbonate, aka baking soda. These little birds are drinking so much. Can you imagine how much of that they're getting in their system? It's completely unnecessary. So it's very easy to make your own nectar mix with just sugar and water. We'll put some helpful links and videos below for you in the description. So check that out and learn more and do your homework before you start feeding hummingbirds. If you're considering this feeder, again, do your homework. Know how to make your own nectar mix properly, what the correct sugar is, how to keep these feeders clean, and learn how frequently to change your nectar out. Especially if you're in a hot area, you might end up changing these once a day, twice a day, something like that, depending on where this is sitting out in your yard, if it's getting really hot, just to help keep them healthy. So again, Dollar Tree feeders, right now Dollar Tree stores are carrying them and they're also online. If you don't see them now, they're going to start probably coming out more towards spring. They are right now $1.25 because again their prices are kind of going up, so it's not just $1, it's $1.25. Getting them taken apart to clean, the base part, the top, is okay. Scrubbing the inside is kind of a challenge, and getting the flowers off to clean them is also a hassle. So if you're going to go with something like this, again, have backup parts. Make sure you have the right tools to clean this out. Not only the cleaning product you're going to use with it, but also your brushes to clean the ports out, to clean the inside out. But again, for the price, these are nice little feeders to get you started with. And we do use some here, so just try them out for yourselves and see. Let us know if you use any of them, how you have success, or maybe have a downfall with getting them clean. And hopefully this helps somebody that's considering using them. We hope you have a great day, and I'm going to take some more video of this taken apart and let you see what it looks like. And we'll see you again next time. And don't forget, subscribe, keep checking out our channel. We are expecting ruby throat somewhere around the time of mid-March. We're going to put our first feeder out. We're actually going to use this. We're going to put a game camera on it. I don't have an actual good quality constant recording camera right now, but we're going to start on March 1st, putting a camera on the feeder. We're going to keep our eyes out for ruby-throated hummingbirds again. Last year, mid-March, we saw our first one. So we're going to try to post a lot more videos this year for you so you can see them up close, whether it's slow motion or just let the camera record a little bit. Usually the males are going to show up first for us, so we're going to have videos probably of a couple males to start with. The females will usually show up, I'd say, about the next month. Then after that, we get really busy around July and August, and they tend to leave around October. So we will let you see all the videos as we go along throughout the months of having our hummingbird friends. And we'll try to get some of our other feeders and do reviews for you on that. Another thing I want to mention too is I want to try to pop this flower out as an example. And remember, because these are more on the affordable, kind of cheap range, when we went to try to pop this flower out, you can see a small crack right there, kind of under that petal. So there's a very big chance for when I take this flower out, it's actually going to crack. So I'm glad I got a couple of feeders, not just one. There's a chance that when you do this, not only, like I said, the flower, the back part right here, may bust that holds it into the little hole, but there's also a chance that the plastic, the red part, will crack as well. So I will show you how that turns out once I get them pulled out and cleaned when I first use them. This is what it looks like once you get the flower popped out. I just applied a little bit of pressure and actually pulled on it. I would be careful again because they are kind of brittle. Not brittle so much as kind of flimsy plastic, so be careful with it. But they are possible to pop out, and they can get a few uses of doing that without any issues. I've had some that I've had for a few years and haven't had a problem with. Sometimes they can break off, so it just kind of depends on what you have. That's what it looks like when it pops out of the hole. And then you just push the flower back in. And you'll hear it click. once you get it back in.